Hello guys, welcome to the Hyperspace Vault. Dave and Alex here, and today we're doing our very first G.I. Joe video. And that is because Hasbro has been re-releasing G.I. Joe stuff. I'm so glad to see G.I. Joe back. They first came out with the Classified series, the 6-inch figures, and now they're doing Walmart exclusive retro, what they're calling retro 3.75-inch figures. And we have two of them here to take a look at. This is our first look at these, and we're going to be comparing them to some of the older figures to see how they compare. So stay tuned. Okay, first up we're going to take a look at Snake Eyes. And as you can see, this is, now a lot of people are upset because they're calling this retro series, and these are not the, what would you call, vintage or retro G.I. Joe figures. These are newer figures. So a lot of people were upset over that. They wanted the original molds, and they didn't do that. And also, the cards are a little bit different. So, same artwork on the cards, but the layout is a little bit different. Of course, you have this oversized bubble, which I'm not a fan of. It goes almost all the way up and down the card. And that's because these come with so many accessories, which that is a good thing. But Alex, here is the 25th anniversary Snake Eyes. And as you can see, it's a totally different figure.
Yeah, if you guys can see the Snake Eyes in the box, if we go ahead and take a closer look at that one, the packaging, you can see that the helmet, instead of on the card, it shows Snake Eyes, but with his, goggles on. But the figure in the card, the figure in the bubble, he actually has the visor thing that he wears in some of the G.I. Joe media. And then coming back to the 25th anniversary figure, the 25th anniversary figure has the goggles that's on the card. So that's a big difference that you can see right away whenever you compare these two figures. Another big thing about it is the new Snake Eyes has chest armor, he has armor all over him, and let's get a good look at there. Yeah, he has armor on him. A bit of soft goods. Yeah. Get all that armor right there. And some soft goods.
Yeah, it has a lot of equipment, like an equipment vest on.
And then the 25th anniversary version of Snake Eyes, just kind of like a more casual, sneaky type Snake Eyes, not like a battle ready Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I did some research, and these figures, of course, these were a newer release, but I couldn't find exactly when these were released. And one of the things I was reading, somebody said that they were released in Toys R Us, but they weren't in this retro G.I. Joe packaging. They were kind of in a modern packaging. So these figures, I think, were from probably around 2013, somewhere along in there, I think. But I didn't find these figures specifically in any archives. So I'm not real sure, other than maybe they were Toys R Us exclusives. They had a line of figures that came out at Toys R Us, I guess. But they're definitely different from the 25th anniversary figures, and they almost look a little bit, I don't know if it's just because of that big bubble, but they look a little bigger than the older figures. At least Snake Eyes looks a little taller to me. So, but I love all these accessories. I mean, there's knives, there's swords, there's machine guns, there's 2 pistols. There's just all kinds of stuff in here. Even there's magazines here for the guns. All kinds of accessories. So that's really cool. Now let's take a look at the back of the card and give you a look up. First, let's look at the classic artwork, which was G.I. Joe so iconic. Now, one thing I don't like is they just have Snake Eyes listed here, and normally they have the term and their code name, and I prefer that with the older stuff. So These new cards just say the code name Snake Eyes instead of their rank or officer or whatever.
Yeah, and then as we move on to the back,
as you can see here, it says Commando. Snake Eyes is a commando, and then his code name is Snake Eyes. So now on the back here, you got a retro-looking card again, and of course, with modern Hasbro, everything is multi-language, and I do not like this at all. The file card is in like 5 different languages, and yeah, and I guess there's less information here because they had to divide it up on all these different languages. So that's one of the bad things.
And also, as we look on the back, it shows every figure in the wave, including the figure that you have in your hand. And we have Snake Eyes. We have Storm Shadow.
Baroness, and that's wave 1. Wave 2 is Scarlet, Roadblock, and Destro. So Walmart stores are getting wave 1 in right now, and they had all 3 figures at our store. So it's really cool to see these figures back in stores. I mean, G.I. Joe went away there for a few years. You just didn't see it anymore. And I thought Hasbro was just abandoning the whole line. So it's nice to see a re-emergence of the G.I. Joe line. And even those 6-inch figures. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of some of them, the way they did some of them. They took I kind of like the classic look better. They kind of took their own, I guess, modernizing some of the characters. But some of them look pretty cool. So, like Duke and Scarlet, I wasn't really a huge fan of seeing those, the way they did those. But the others, Destro and some of the others, look more classic looking. So we'll have to see what they do with the rest of the figures in that classified 6-inch way. But they've been hard to find. I mean, they have been, as soon as they set them out, they're gone. So it'll be interesting to see how good these sell too. They had a lot at our Walmart, and so it'll be interesting to see how much they sell. They're $12.99. They're the same price as a Star Wars Vintage Collection figure. But look how many more accessories you get. I mean, you got tons of accessories, whereas Star Wars, you're lucky to get maybe a blaster or 2. So, depending on the character or the figure. So, but every one of these, I'll throw some pictures up of Baroness. Baroness was loaded with accessories too. But yeah, down at the bottom of the card, they have the classic Hasbro logo from the 80s. So that's really nice. Kind of like how, the Star Wars Vintage Collection figures have the Kenner logo down at the bottom. These have the classic Hasbro logo.
Yeah, very cool.
Alright, next up, let's take a look at Storm Shadow. And we have some more comparisons here for Storm Shadow. We have the 25th anniversary figure here, the vintage figure from my childhood, which is all yellow looking now. Unfortunately, he's turned yellow. The plastic is yellowed.
Yeah, but I guess that's just part of the vintage charm,
So here is the 25th anniversary figure, and here is the retro figure, and you can see it's a completely different figure. The retro figure, which is a newer release, has some soft goods, has a white soft goods belt on it there, and it's it's totally different sculpt and everything.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. To be honest, I kind of like the 25th anniversary Storm Shadow better than the retro Storm Shadow, because the 25th anniversary design is just the one that I'm more familiar with, and yeah, I'm not really that familiar with the retro design. So yeah, just wanted to point that out.
The new retro series cards look taller because they have this long elongated bubble on them. So they are the same size, they are the same width, and as you can see there, they fit perfectly. So they are the same size, but it's just where everything has just kind of been changed on this new card. It makes it look like it's slimmer and taller. And you can see there it's the same artwork, and again, they just have Storm Shadow up here, whereas the older cards have Cobra Ninja and then codename Storm Shadow. So yeah, other than that, and then they have the border. Like this has a white, or some of these cards had a foil silver border around them. that kind of sets it off too. So there you get a good comparison. Now let's compare the back. And here we go. So now you can see what I'm telling you about the info, the file card on Storm Shadow. The older one has a whole lot more information about, the character and history of the character. And then this new one, which really it really bugs me, has all these different languages in, and there's a lot less information there. So I don't like that at all. And you can see the older cards. There's none of this, all of this, Hasbro mumbo jumbo stuff back here, the legal information. None of that is on this card. So, and then they have room for all these different, figures that were in the line. So again, you have just wave 1 and wave 2 on the new card. So comparing the two file cards, the old file cards are much better.
Yeah, I agree as well, because there's really no need for all that Hasbro stuff that they just throw in. I completely like the old card way better. How it shows like his backstory and like what he can do and stuff like that. But instead, for us, it just has a little description, little descriptions, and then it's just blah 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 all the way through.
Yeah, this one goes through his family history and stuff, and then the new one just says can scale sheer walls with bare hands and feet and move at blinding speeds. So, that's kind of really generic.
Yeah, something that you'd expect a ninja to do. So it's kind of cooler how they have like the backstory of his family and stuff on the other one, instead of just saying what a ninja basically does.
So let me put the figure here up next to the new figure, and you can get a close-up look at the changes that have been made. Again, this new figure I think came out in 2013, somewhere along in there from what I could tell, but I never could find a picture of this exact figure in the G.I. Joe archive websites. And it wasn't from the movie line that came out back then, so I'm not real sure. But look at all those accessories. You got swords, you got bow and arrows, you got these little daggers, you got a fan. Then there's the back, his pack that holds the arrows, and also we've got to mention that on Snake Eyes, you've got a stand in there that comes with the figure.
Yeah, and also with the stand, similar to the box or card, it just says Storm Shadow, as if we pull in like the 25th anniversary Storm Shadow, you can see that the stand says code name Storm Shadow, but the new stand, just like the box, the card just says Storm Shadow. So very, very, very lazy of Hasbro. Very lazy of Hasbro.
Yeah, overall, I'm happy that these are back. I'm glad to see G.I. Joe figures back in stores. They were a huge part of my childhood. I had a whole lot more G.I. Joe stuff than Star Wars stuff, because, Star Wars stuff started phasing out after Return of the Jedi in '83. And that's about the time G.I. Joe showed up. And, with these vintage figures, you had bendable knees, elbows, and swivel arms. There's a whole lot more articulation and playability with these figures. And, the Star Wars figures just kind of lost their, with their, no knee joints or elbow joints. They just kind of lost their luster real quick with kids in the mid 80s. And plus there was no new Star Wars stuff coming out, no new movies or anything. So Star Wars kind of fell by the wayside, and G.I. Joe quickly took the place of Star Wars, as G.I. Joe had all these vehicles and play sets, and there was a cartoon that came on every day after school. So it was a really awesome time. And the characters, each character, through the cartoons and the comic books, had a, really good backgrounds and everything.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about how many vehicles they made in the vintage G.I. Joe line. They made, I'd say, over 100. Like, ranging from, like, that helicopter that you can see in the background, I'm not really sure exactly what it's called, all the way to
It's called a Cobra Fang.
Cobra Fang?
Yeah.
Ranging from the Cobra Fang all the way up to the USS Flag, the giant aircraft carrier that everybody likes and everybody wants. Yeah, they just made many, too many to count. That they made so many vehicles for the original, the vintage G.I. Joe line.
Yeah, another reason I like these coming back out is the 25th anniversary figures have been slowly rising in price, and of course, Storm, Shadow, and Snake Eyes, two of the primary most expensive figures, are really expensive right now. So I'm glad to see new figures out, and that way the scalpers and whoever sells this stuff on eBay for outrageous prices, it brings that stuff down. So that's quite nice too. So I'm glad to see the line back. I know a lot of people are upset over, they were expecting, when they said they were coming out with retro figures, they were expecting the old molds to be used, and they didn't do that. They used, I guess, the newest molds that they had, which I'm okay with. They shouldn't have called this line retro, but as you see with the Star Wars line, there's no huge retro stickers on them anywhere. So that's a nice touch too. So we don't have to put up with a big, huge retro sticker. But so overall, I'm happy that these are back. I don't have a problem with these new molds being used. I think they look excellent. They have all the posability of modern figures. So, and accessories are just outstanding. So we're not going to open these today. We're just kind of doing a first look at these, and maybe later on we'll do some videos where we open some of these and do a full review. But for right now, we're just doing a first look at the G.I. Joe retro figures.
Yeah, I can't wait until they release more like Cobra Commander. My favorite character. To be honest, I think Cobra Commander is my favorite character throughout all of G.I. Joe. And I can't wait until they release him. And how close he's going to look to the 25th anniversary versions that they came out with. Yeah, it's very nice to see G.I. Joe come back again.
Another quick note on the cards. The cards are thinner than the older cards. As you can see here, Storm Shadow's got a slight bend in him, but they're not as thin as the Star Wars retro figure cards. So they are a little bit thicker than Star Wars, but they're definitely a lot thinner than these cards. These cards were just excellent. I mean, they were thick. There was no warping at all going on with these old 25th anniversary cards. I mean, they were thick and nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, look how straight that one is. I mean, it's just perfectly straight. So overall, I'm glad to see these back. But yeah, you can definitely tell it's modern Hasbro. All right, I guess that wraps up this video. If you want to see more G.I. Joe content, we're planning on doing some more stuff in the future as they come out with some of this new stuff. Eventually, hopefully we can find some of the classified series figures and maybe open those and do a review on those. Thank you all for watching our first G.I. Joe figure video. Thank you for watching our first G.I. Joe video. Hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching our first G.I. Joe Thank you for watching our first G.I. Joe video on the new Retro series. And that wraps up this video. Cobra!
Cobra!